Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and time for another wrestling DVD review, and that is For All Mankind, The Life and Career of Mick Foley. And I know there's another DVD which I do have called Mick Foley Hits and Misses. It's pretty much him hosting and then a bunch of his matches, and I thought that was a really good DVD as well. It's a good companion piece to this, because this one actually has a documentary as well as matches, and mostly different matches. It's not just all the same matches there's on there. There's different matches on there, so it's worth it to have both. But I wanted to review this one because, again, this does have a documentary, and a pretty lengthy documentary, but interesting. It's about a 2-hour and 14-minute documentary. And Mick Foley and the characters he played, whether it be Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love. And this guy really had an interesting career. I like that. It's like, okay, there's Cactus Jack, there's Mankind, there's Dude Love, sort of smiley faces. I thought that was a nice little touch. Before I get into the documentary, just what's on the, it's a 3-disc set. Disc 2, one of his first matches in WWF, Superstars, as Jack Foley, and Les Thornton versus the British Bulldogs, with alternate commentary by Mick Foley and Joey Styles. AWA match, Cactus Jack and Gary Young versus Scott Steiner and Billy Travis. Wild West Wrestling, Curtis Jack Manson versus Brickhouse Brown. Cactus Jack Manson. Power Hour, Cactus Jack versus Keith Hart. Another Power Hour match, Cactus Jack versus Sting. Clash of the Champions, Cactus Jack versus Van Hammer. Barbed Wire match, Cactus Jack versus Sandman. And then Cactus Jack versus Shane Douglas. In Your House, Coldane Held, Mankind versus Rocky Maivia. In Your House, Mankind versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley at Canadian Stampede. Let's see, then disc 3, you had Dude Love versus Rocky Maivia on Raw. Hell in a Cell match, of course, Mankind versus Undertaker, with commentary by Mick Foley and Joey Styles. Mankind and Kane versus New Age Outlaws. Mankind versus The Rock at In Your House Rock Bottom. Mankind and The Rock versus Triple H and Shane McMahon on SmackDown. Mankind versus Al Snow on SmackDown. And Cactus Jack versus Triple H in Hell of a Cell retirement match at No Way Out. Now, again, this is a really interesting documentary because there's a lot of cool info and just a really interesting career that Mick Foley has had. I mean, going out for wrestling when he was a kid, actually knowing Kevin James back in like high school, like a high school wrestler. One of his teammates was Kevin James. Yes, that Kevin James. And how, you know, he was pretty much a lovable guy from the beginning. He was a prankster. How a moment that defined him was the steel cage match with Jimmy Snuka climbing up and flying down. And how when he was a freshman in college, he wanted to create wrestling characters. He created this guy named Dude Love, and you see some home movies from that. And you know, him being taught, him in an early role as a wrestler on WWF Superstars as Jack Foley, and how during that match, I think the Dynamite Kid hit him and actually dislocated his damn jaw. I thought that was sort of an asshole thing for Dynamite Kid to do. Being in the AWA as Cactus Jack, you know, getting known for crazy bumps. His time in WCW and facing people like Sting and Vader. You know, getting stitches during those fights. Actually you have an interview with Vader, who's a much different guy than his wrestling personality, which I thought was really cool. And he laughs about how some people would use him as an excuse to get some insurance money. Like, oh, I need some rest and some insurance money. Hey, Vader, why don't you do something to me? But Mick Foley laughs is, I didn't get the insurance money though. But it seems like him and Vader are still good friends, and Vader seems like a cool guy. Tells about a moment where Mick Foley actually lost his ear during a match in Germany against Vader. How Mick Foley was trapped in the ropes and ear just sort of came off. And actually, I should say, it was fucked up badly, and then Vader punched him and the ear fucking fell off. And you don't see it clearly, but you see like a rough home footage of that match, and like, Jesus. And down the road, he was able to get kind of reattached, so his ear's like really small now. And he was pissed off at, it's like, okay, this happened. Let me use it as part of a storyline. Like, I want revenge for what happened. WCW didn't do that, and he was pissed off at that. And he was getting pissed off because they weren't using them at all, and didn't let him use that angle when that happened. All sorts of stuff. So he said, fuck, he left WCW, went to ECW, and talks about his time at ECW. He was also pissed off about, at that time, there were these stupid gimmicks in WWF, like, you didn't name specific, like, but you had like Max Moon, and you had Bastion Booger, and you had this guy who had a toilet plunger, and this guy who was a Duke the Dumpster. And it's like, you having all these stupid gimmicks and characters, but I can't be in there. And I can understand that, because that was a bad time in WWF. I actually would love to get my hands on like the first couple seasons of Raw, or whatever it is, just to watch all that stupid gimmick stuff. But also, he's pissed off about that. Also talks about how he went to Japan with Terry Funk, and just getting these death matches, which I think is a nice guy gave me these videotapes of these death matches in Japan, and I couldn't watch them. They're just too much for me. Even he admits those kind of matches were too dangerous. There was a time where you have his fingers on barbed wire, you can see the bone, and you just see pictures, and there's like blood all over. And when I'm talking about death matches, I mean like the whole ring, the ropes are barbed wire, and there's fucking mines, explosions in the ring. That's what kind of matches they are. There's fucking mines, explosions, as well as blood and barbed wire. And it's like, just the pictures alone was, ugh. So I'm not sure Mick Foley's in them, because I didn't get far enough, but it's more other, but it's on another, I forget what the guy's name is, but I couldn't watch them. It's just too much for me. Too much for me. A little bit of blood is fine, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, with Bret Hart, but yeah, that's just too much for me. You talk about finally getting to WWF, becoming the Mankind character, and how there were other names like the Mutilator and such like that, but settled on Mankind. His rivalry with Undertaker, with matches like the Boiler Room fight, which that was a pretty cool fight. He had a really cool match with Shawn Michaels at In Your House. That was a really good match. Getting interviewed by Jim Ross. Other characters would come in like Dude Love. Becoming a little bit of a tag team with Stone Cold for a little bit. Fighting with Triple H. Fighting with Stone Cold. The Hell in a Cell match between him and Undertaker, where Undertaker threw him off the top of the cage into the table down below. It's like the most famous image for Mick Foley's career. And then later on in that match, getting up to the cage and being slammed through the cage all the way down to the floor. To the mat. And you see that one of Mick Foley's tooth went up and got stuck in his nose. So there's like one of his teeth in his fucking nose during that match. It's the famous or infamous Hell in a Cell match between him and Undertaker. It's just Jesus. But it's probably one of the most memorable matches of all time. I know after that, his body's really taking a toll. So him doing more humorous stuff, like the scene with him visiting Vince McMahon in the hospital. That's the same one where later on Stone Cold beats the shit out of Vince McMahon. That was always a funny segment. And that's where Sacco, this Sock character, because his finishing move would be like, get your finger underneath the tongue. Like there's a place underneath the tongue. If you press down, really, really hurt. It's a submission move. But after that segment, people are like, oh yeah, Sacco, Sacco. So he would use that in his matches. It's about how him becoming champion and really fun match between him and The Rock, and Stone Cold makes an appearance at the end, and gives a metal finger to Vince McMahon and throws his cap at Vince McMahon. That was a fun moment. And Mick Foley actually says, "Yo, Adrian, I did it." Mick Foley just seems like a really nice guy. That's what you get. I think that's why I enjoyed watching people like, really, it's 2 hours and 14 minutes. That seems a bit much. But it was a really fascinating career. And he just seems like a really humble, nice guy, Mick Foley. Always seems like a really nice guy. So it was nice to watch. And all sorts of stuff. Him teaming up with The Rock, the tag team known as The Rock and Sock Connection. Him becoming an author of a book that became #1 bestseller. Being his last retirement match with Triple H. Him coming back and being the commissioner, sort of a general manager. Matches like match he had at Backlash with Randy Orton. WrestleMania match that he had with Edge. Talked a lot about the charities that he did. And he also had D. Snyder. I'm like, when you're watching a Mick Foley DVD, you're not thinking you're going to see someone like D. Snyder. But there's D. Snyder, and Mick Foley and D. Snyder are friends, and Mick Foley got D. Snyder into doing charity work. And how Mick Foley was still helping with the business. He brought in people like CM Punk. He's one of the guys who helped bring in people like CM Punk and Samoa Joe, who went to, I think, TNA. And how, nowadays he does like these little sort of kind of stand-up improv, but telling more of his stories. And just a really interesting career told by a really humble, nice, seems like a very humble, nice guy. There's a lot of stuff, from WCW, ECW, that stuff in Japan, WWF, these different characters, tag team, Hell in a Cell, just a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of really interesting stuff, I must say. But this was definitely, really glad to have this really, really interesting documentary, some cool matches. Yeah, I would recommend this and the other DVD where he hosts a lot of other matches that he did. I think it's like Mick Foley greatest hits and misses. Both of those I would recommend. This definitely for the documentary, and as well as the matches, and that one for the matches as well. So I'm glad to have both of them. Really good stuff. But that's just my thoughts. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in another video later.